There you go. And let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I believe I am. There we go. So I don't see anybody writing me anything in chat right now. I'm going to hope that you guys can see my screen and that you guys can hear me okay. And if so, we'll go ahead and get this thing started. We're obviously talking about heavy rainfall this time around. Yesterday was a bit of a different story for us. Obviously, yesterday we had a couple of very strong thunderstorms, including one that started in northeast El Paso and then worked its way over the airport and through much of the east side, just to the east of the mountains. And it dropped not only very heavy rain and some flooding, but we had some hail and we had some damaging winds out there as well. The good news is the hail threat and the damaging wind threat for most of us has subsided for this particular forecast. But the bad news is we're going to continue to keep talking about rain out there, and rainfall is going to be our nemesis for the next couple of days. Rain most definitely going to be with us through tomorrow. We're in a very unusually wet weather pattern right now for this time of June. This should be our 100-degree dry, hot stuff. And this kind of weather should be setting in a couple of weeks. But nonetheless, with the rain around, and the fact that we've already seen the rain be heavy at times, we're going to see more heavy rain throughout the next at least 36 hours, I would say. Not continuous, but off and on over the next 36 hours, and that could lead to the flooding probability across much of the area. As a matter of fact, we did issue a flash flood watch for all but the Boot Hill. That's going to be in effect through tomorrow while we're anticipating the heavy rain. And I'm looking at the temperature right now at my office here in Santa Teresa. We're 63 degrees. When was the last time we were late morning headed to midday only in the low 60s and looking at cloudy skies out there and drizzly rainy type conditions? So very unusual. What's causing this is a little upper level storm system that dropped in yesterday. When it came yesterday, it announced its arrival with those big thunderstorms. It's going to set with us today and tomorrow. So it continues to focus the moisture on us, continues to be a trigger for developing some of the thunderstorms. But we think later in the week, high pressure is going to push it west of here. And even though we won't be looking at necessarily a lot of flooding rain for late in the week, we're going to at least have a daily chance for rain right on through the 4th of July. So that means barbecues, fireworks, outdoor concerts, events that are all scheduled. A lot of stuff is planned to go on now. A lot of that could be in jeopardy, so you need to keep up with that. Now, as always, weather forecasts are never slam dunk. If there's one that's close to being slam dunk, it's the idea of rain the next few days. But how much rain? That's one of our uncertainties. Will we get a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain, or will we get some of these astronomical numbers that lead to flooding? It's kind of what we're forecasting, but our confidence is going to go low to moderate, say 40 to maybe 50% on that. The temperature forecast that we stay cooler than normal. We don't go back in triple digits for several days. We feel real good about that one. And the track of that upper system, the one that's creating the rain for the next couple of days, will it get on out of here Thursday and Friday, or will it linger longer and possibly even repeat what we saw back in 2006? We don't think that's going to happen. We think it's going to move away. But again, our confidence in the 40 to 50% range on that. So let me show you what's happening with the latest satellite photograph. And this really kind of summarizes things. You see the L right over southwestern New Mexico. What it's done, it kind of dropped down to near Columbus, now back up over us in Santa Teresa. This is what we call a cutoff low. If you've ever been cut off on the interstate, you know that it kind of slows down your progress. Well, that's what the rest of the atmosphere is doing to this thing. They've cut it off. It's just sitting there and it's not quite sure where it's going to go. Now, eventually they'll open the freeway for it, the superhighway aloft, and let that thing work back over Arizona and get out of here. But right now, where you see that little L, it's right in the center of it and to the east of it, because to the east of it, it's drawing moisture from the south. And it's got a lot of moisture to draw in. You've got low and mid-level moisture that's kind of coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, right up the Rio Grande. And then you've got some mid and high-level moisture. There's actually a tropical weather system by the name of Enrique off the west coast of Mexico. We're not going to get the mother load of moisture from it, but we're already seeing some of its high-level moisture move in. So, you know, monsoon season, what do we need to get the rain? Well, you have to have moisture, and we've got plenty of it. We had plenty of it yesterday as well. Here's a look at some of the rain amounts we've seen over the past 24 hours. El Paso Airport, one of the big winners at almost 1.5 inches, but that had to do with that big severe thunderstorm that rolled right over the airport. They got a bulk of that in about 35 minutes. That's why we saw flooding. But every place you see on this map where you've got those shades of red, even kind of going into a little bit of purple there, southeastern Doña Ana County, southwestern Doña Ana County, southern parts of Luna County there, even western parts of Otero County. That's where we had the individual thunderstorms that dropped some of the heavier rain. So what this essentially did, it didn't get rid of the drought, mind you, but it has soaked the top level of soil, which means additional rains that fall today aren't going to be able to penetrate deep into the soil. They're going to start running off, and that means arroyos and low-lying water crossings. All of those are going to fill up wherever we get any excessive rain. And this is a forecast that comes from our partners at NOAA, the Weather Prediction Center. This shows us where we're most likely to see the excessive rain today. And fortunately, that bullseye is just to the east of the area that most of us cover. Those of you that are listening in right now are partners here with the National Weather Service in El Paso. But the yellow, we were in the yellow yesterday right up through El Paso and Alamogordo, and we saw what happened. Well, that has been extended west to Truth or Consequences and Deming. So that's why we think we're probably going to start seeing a little more excessive rainfall when the next few rounds of rain come in. So everybody wants to know, how much do you think we're going to get? These are our numbers. This is our official forecast that we're running with for you today. And I've just tossed a few numbers on there, but where you see the shades of orange and red, that's where it will be most likely the heaviest. Now, this is today and tomorrow combined. The reason why I put 2 days in, these are the 2 days I think we're going to see the most rainfall. And this is the period that's also covered by our flash flood watch. That means another 1.2 inches in El Paso. That would mean a storm total pushing 3 inches. 3 inches of rain in 2-3 days is a lot of rain for us here in the desert with our runoff. And another 1.33 inches in Las Cruces, Hillsboro. You get up into parts of, say, the higher terrain Sacramento's and Otero County. There's even some areas over there where we think we'll see 4 to 5 inches of rain over the next couple of days. Now, Wednesday is going to be a transition day. If everything goes as planned, that low is going to start working its way back into Arizona. We won't be out of the action yet, but we will be able to temper it a little bit. These numbers are not necessarily flash flood producing numbers, 1/2 inch or less in most areas. Some of the higher terrain, the Black Range, even parts of the Sacramento's could still be in line for this. But the bottom line is flooding. That's the big impact that we're going to watch for. This photo that you see with the flooding was taken near Dyer yesterday. I believe it's, I can't believe, I tried, Dearborn maybe is the intersection there with Dyer. And you can see that that one heavy thunderstorm definitely flooded things pretty quick, and folks are doing what we tell them not to do. Don't drive through flooded roadways. We need to continue to message that to our partners over the next couple of days. Caught folks off guard. Now, there's still a chance for 1 or 2 severe thunderstorms to pop up, but not as many as we saw yesterday. But with the heavy rains, they can produce some very strong winds, some of these wet microbursts that come our way. We saw those yesterday as well. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. So the summary of what we're going to have is widespread rain. It won't just be here or there. It could be everywhere with a few thunderstorms mixed in for good measure. And with the heavy rain will come the flooding. We're not ruling out an isolated severe thunderstorm, but again, I really think we need to focus on flooding, and flooding can be a big, big problem around here when this kind of weather pattern sets up. And if we do get some of those stronger thunderstorms, some stronger winds to go along with it. So that's what I've got for you there. That's roughly about an 8 or 9 minute look at what's going on with the weather. So I'm going to go ahead and back this thing up for you and leave it on this image right quick so you can see the total rainfall, because I think that's the one that's most important to just about everybody. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a chance to ask me any questions that you have. You're certainly welcome to type them into the chat. I've allowed ourselves about 10 minutes to do this, but of course, if you guys are good with it, we don't have to stay that long. And there's a place to write in questions. If you prefer to use that one, I'm going to undock that one for myself so that I can see you. And you will have to unmute yourself, by the way, if you want to talk to me. So if you look there by your name, there's a chance by your microphone to unmute you. We had you muted to get this thing started. And I appreciate all of you guys leaving it that way. I'm not going to unmute all. I'm going to see if you guys can unmute yourself. So do I have any questions out there? And if I don't hear any questions, I will unmute all briefly just to make sure everything's working. Wait a minute. Okay, I've got some questions coming in. Philip Rodriguez from over in Luna County says, is there any chance of hail? Probably any hail that falls, Philip, at least in the Deming area, Columbus, where you're most interested. And for that matter, anywhere from, say, the Divide East would be small, kind of pea-sized stuff. not some of the big damaging hail. The area I'm concerned about hail, believe it or not, is the area that's going to get the least amount of rain. Lordsburg, up to around Mule Creek. It's because those areas are in some sunshine to start the day. If you can believe it, there are parts of this area that are actually seeing some sun peek through. They get hotter, and when you get hotter, your air gets more unstable, and you get a chance for thunderstorms. But I really think for most of us, hail's not a big issue. Eric up in the Cloudcroft area said that I mentioned monsoons. He asked, is this truly a monsoon flow pattern that is set up, or is this just a random storm? It's not really our monsoon, Eric. You're exactly right. We're in monsoon season, but this is a very anomalous or out of the ordinary type setup for us. Obviously, a monsoon flow pattern is going to bring winds from the east and southeast that taps moisture. But a lot of what we've got going, this came in behind a cold front a couple of days ago. Now, as we get into Thursday or Friday and high pressure starts to nose in, it will look a little more like our classic monsoon by then. But this has more to do with moisture in place, a hurricane down to the south, and of course that stubborn cutoff low sitting on top of us. Eric also says, can we expect that this is the beginning of our summer rains? There's a chance we're going to dry out again for the monsoon sets in. There's going to be probably a brief drying period sneaking in there, but right now, the Climate Prediction Center actually says that over the next 30 days or so, we've got a chance of staying possibly at or a little wetter than normal. And we start to see the good monsoon stuff set up, usually second week of July or so, if we had a decent monsoon going. So there may be a couple of breaks there, but this is a good start. We're optimistic. Sandra over at KFOX asked me, do you have any idea of the timing of the heavy rains that could continue overnight? Let me pull up a radar for you guys. Since you're still seeing my screen, that's a very, very good point. I've got the latest radar image up here kind of running. Now, you see the shades of yellow and orange in here. Those are not thunderstorms. We do not have the convection going right now. This is a good, what we call stratiform type rain event, where it's just kind of widespread and coming out of those low clouds that are above us. But it is a steady to moderate rain. It's just cleared Las Cruces and moving north. Right here in the El Paso area, most of the rain that set in about 6, 7 this morning has since kind of settled down for now. But look back to Sierra Blanca, and I'll expand my view a little bit down into Mexico. But keep in mind that once we get far enough away from our radar beam's kind of overshooting some of the activity. There are a couple of little waves of energy that are going to rotate in. If we happen to get any breaks in the clouds between now and say 3 o'clock this afternoon, that would give us our thunderstorm chance. But even though it doesn't look like much south, I think that area is going to fill in. We've been looking at some of what we call our convecting allowing models and some of our high resolution models, and they show that this all fills in from El Paso into Hudspeth County about 2 or 3 this afternoon and starts to move right on through the rush hour. Now, I wouldn't hang my hat on that, but even though we don't know exact timing, I would say at least 2 more waves of steady to heavy rain, if not 3 or 4 between now and tomorrow night. Matt Friedberg asked, can he get a publicly shareable graphic? Actually, Matt, I got one for you. I made it just a little while ago, and I'll be happy to shoot that your way. What I need you to do is get me an email address. If you'll go into our NWS chat, I've private chatted you, and you'll see it. You'll be able to put it in there, and that way you don't have to share it with everybody else. John Gwynn, do we have some visuals that we can publish on the county website? I'm assuming you're in Las Cruces area as well, since that question has come in, so that kind of goes along with Matt's. Monica down there at KTSM asks, she's been getting a lot of questions about the similarities now and the 2006 floods. Is there a chance we could see a similar from this event? Right now, the chances are pretty slim, Monica and all of you, that we're going to repeat 2006. That's what we call one of those 100-year floods, and I'm kind of old, but I remember that, and I'm not 100 yet. But the bottom line is, we did have one of these upper lows similar to the one that's with us right now. It was actually centered a little bit further north of us, believe it or not. We were also later into the season where we had a very substantial regular monsoon flow pattern coming in. So because of the fact that we're not really in the depth of our monsoon season, and the low is positioned a little further south, and right now our forecast, even though it's just a moderate confidence, is that low is going to shift west as high pressure pushes in. If we get that to happen Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like we're saying right now, we won't have the chance to accumulate the kind of rains. But I caution, and this is the key, while it may not be as widespread as 2006, all it's going to take is 1 or 2 thunderstorms like we saw in East El Paso yesterday to create some similar conditions, be it all more localized. That's why there's urgency in this forecast, why we're talking to you today, and why we want you all to pass this along to your constituents and some of your partners out there as well, that we need to respect the chance of flash flooding. Flooding is the #1 killer. It has been for the last several years outside of heat, right here in our area that we forecast, the El Paso area. So that was an extremely, extremely good question, and one that needs to be addressed. So no, we don't think we're going to repeat 2006, but we're going to err on the side of caution on this one. So wow, you guys had some super duper questions for me. 11:16 right now. I'll give you just a couple of more minutes. If not, I think we may have touched on a lot of what you have. And remember, we sent out an email to just about all of you this morning. We send them out on Mondays and Thursdays. They're our hazard email with our matrix to kind of help you there. One thing you may have noticed is we didn't put it into the red. We kind of kept it with moderate and not severe type or extreme type impacts. But moderate impacts are significant, so don't let those colors fool you. And along with that email that I sent you out there, I included our office direct line here into our operations area. We're going to keep it staffed with a few extra folks over the next couple of days to help you guys out. So if you have any burning questions that you don't necessarily want to share with the public here, we understand. Feel free to give us a call here at the office. We'll do our best to kind of help you out. That's what we're here for. We call this our weather enterprise. We're not the sole experts that come with weather. We just kind of push the information out there and help you guys digest it. But we couldn't do our mission of keeping people safe and protecting property without each and every one of you. So let me just say right now how much I appreciate you and how good it is to work with all of you. So it looks like that's going to be it for the questions. You all got a lot to do. I wanted to get this in before midday today, but we'll be here. And if you need us, go ahead and let us know. Sandra did say, are you going to send this webinar out by emails? I will make a PDF of the slides for you there, Sandra, and send those to you. And I think I have recorded it. If the recording works, I'll be sending that your way as well. So thanks for asking. All right, everybody. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and end this right now, and hopefully we'll weather this storm together. But if anything changes, we'll be sure to let you guys know about it. You guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. Keep doing such a great job.